Okay, hello everyone. Should be working. Can you hear me good? Am I breathing too much in the microphone or something? Or
No?
sounds pretty clear? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Okay. So everybody who's watching, you'll be able to see the screen. You should be able to see me and Abraham. So welcome, Abraham.
Hello?
I'm going to try and give across some information on generally violet invocation and purple pink light and associate it with everything that I can from my path, because that's all I can really do. And it is meant to be yet again. I've stepped in Synchro-City, the synchronicity city on earth, and because I see a video here by Helen Dimitriou next to the golden violet heart flame invocation that is Rises, or Richard Wigley, from Golden Game of Enlightenment and Abundance, and you guys can see those tabs in the background. So
No,
Abraham,
I'm gonna add her if that's okay.
pardon?
I'm gonna add Helen to my friends list.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm
That's
sure
okay.
she'll be fine with that. She publishes stuff and she writes about earth goddesses like Sophia, I think Inanna she's written about and stuff. Maybe that wasn't her. But just she writes about like esoteric, like and earth goddessy stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
she's able to channel that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's good. We do need that. Otherwise you get a box reality. When we just read science all day and all this and just do that. So today I'm going to basically, as a Christ, I'm a Maitreyu Christ, and this is a current carnative energy. Here's someone else who is, and when you see this, look at that. Oh, the picture is, you'll be able to see this when you're watching the video, Abraham, and I'll just get you
Okay.
off the screen there. So there's this guy who was just passed to me this morning. Horticulture, like as in autism, I think. Horticulture.com and The Liminalist. So some
Mm.
people have probably heard about him. I think he's from South America. I think it's Alejandro Martinez Gallardo, and he's talking to someone else, which I'm not sure if that's James Hillman, the guy with the soft voice in this, or what. But anyway, you can see his picture there. What's that? Looks like a Christ sort of fella, if you see the picture. And it's funny, I've got a thymus problem at the moment. I need to be pumping out more T cells from my thymus. It's funny, the pictures there and everything. This whole video is lined up. This whole consultation with Abraham has come together. So this guy was inspiring me this morning. He's also a Maitreyu Christ, and I can tell just by, well, the psychedelic picture in the background, that's up with the times, because psychedelics are asymptotic and the top of the food pyramid, not erroneous and excluded from the food pyramid, thanks. So he's up with the times. The way he's talking when I go down here is eclectic. Well, this is very zeitgeistal, the stuff he's saying here, like, look at this, death as therapy. He was talking about, and it sounds worse than it is, Lucifer's gift of blindness. I'm just going into some of the parts that might seem a bit more out there. A bit of Shakti shock awakening. I like a bit of my Shakti shock awakening. So yeah, he goes into a lot of stuff, and I liked what the guy said about Lucifer's gift of blindness, how he was saying that Lucifer gave a sort of blindness so that we would think that we have free will, but we don't really. And before those moments where that happened and, the esoteric Lucifer blinded man, we were the divine and there was no, separation. This is also correlatory to Terence McKenna's fall into history, if you'll note, because it's the same thing. He was saying we're falling away from the divine into all this social construct, etc., etc. And it's a type of blindness, and people have got it real bad these days. The ignorance fog would say riser from Golden Game of Enlightenment and Abundance. So anyway, this guy was inspiring me this morning. I think that's the first I've heard of him. I just wanted to quickly go over this video here. Would you like to play it, Abraham, or...
Yeah, do you send me a link, or what do I do?
Oh no, would you like me to play the Gold Ring Violet Heart Flame Purification Healing Meditation
Oh, okay.
that I gave you the other day now?
Yeah,
And then it's
that
all
would,
in this video?
sure, yeah.
Sweet.
Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that. I'm happy with that. So, I'm not sure if this sound's going to come out. No, that's in my ear, so I'm going to have to... Well, the people watching should be able to. Can you hear that?
Yeah,
Cool.
So take a deep breath and allow the muscles in your body to relax, as if you're lying upon a cloud and dissolving into it. Breathe slowly and intentionally through your heart. With each breath, you relax deeper and deeper as your body becomes lighter, dissolving into the cloud. As you inhale, begin to feel the rhythm of your heart as the life force is drawn into it, and then softly exhale. Now visualize a large circle of bright lavender flames about 33 feet beneath you. They are so beautiful as they begin to rise higher and higher. And as they draw closer, you notice that each flame is edged with a beautiful golden light, like sunlight on water. The flames grow larger still until they surround and engulf you and rise swiftly the same distance above your body as they were below your body. The sensation is like a cool breeze as the flames dance around and through you, and you feel lighter as the flames dissolve and consume the chatter in your head and the static energy of the day. As the static is dissolved, you see a brilliant white light emanating from your heart that expands and expands out into every cell of your body, expanding around you, above and below you, 33 feet in all directions. Feel the gentle warmth of this brilliant white light and deep, profound peace that it leaves in its wake. You become the peace. Now begin to feel the pulsating rhythm of your heart and feel the sensations in your fingers and toes, your legs and torso, and now your head. You realize the light has awakened every cell in your body, and you are open, receptive, alert, and focused. Welcome back.
so beautiful. I love that. So that's made by Riser 5 with Adobe software, and I should be able to make ones like that soon myself, fingers crossed. And I really like Riser stuff because you can see all the cool patterns and their activations and so forth. Now over to the right, there's a video for Frequency of Love and DNA Repair, and I'd recommend that after what we just saw and experienced. And that's by Helen over here.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, she does metaphysical and complementary therapist, angel light worker, and founder of Angel Craft Healing Therapy. 29,000 people subscribed, Helen. Wow. I've only got like 100 and something. Anyway.
Uh, you had mentioned incense and how it might not be the best thing. What do you know about?
Pardon, I didn't hear one word you said then.
Oh, can you hear me?
What might
Hello?
what might be the best thing?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but what I missed one word.
Oh, I'm just curious about incense.
Oh,
Well, we
incense. Oh,
had mentioned that, yeah.
okay. Oh yeah, the incense thing. Yeah, me and Abraham were talking about the incense the other day, and all I really wanted to mention mainly was that what they dip them in. So you're burning off whatever they dip them in. So whatever it is, I'm not each company, right? But you're trusting a corporation who's trying to make profit. Now, even the health, health products are like someone's trying to be giving you something good. Like there's a certain kombucha which is like the best I've drunk. It's like raw organic, etc. It's got chia seeds, it's got essential oils, etc. It's the bomb. It's the good thing. It's the best. Um, the bomb. Anyway, um, that's such a bad saying. Anyway, oh, I get it. It explodes. Anyway, so you can get a good product, but mostly corporations seem to be in it to be making the money, and especially when it's not like a health product and it's just a product, there's a lot of inferior product creation, right? Like they don't have to iterate the iPhone every year. Come on, you don't have to. Like Moore's law is the doubling of transistors on computer chips every 18 months, and why things get smaller, better, and faster and stuff, and why your cell phone's like better than the first supercomputer now and all that. It's Moore's law, which is one trend of like getting better and intenser and faster and so on. And to bring that back, really you're trusting for your body, which is like your temple, and your cathedral and all that, your place of worship in a way, and you should be seeing your illnesses through your body. It's a barometer sort of thing, and you're trusting all of that. Your focused being, what if when you die you scatter into, I don't know, whatever, and I don't know, whatever your theory is, but you're here now, right, as you're focused, whatever you are, special Abraham, special Ben, and you can do stuff I can't do, and vice versa, and you know what I'm saying, we're an individual, very special, that ineffable part sticking in of, reality,
Yeah,
and we're such a focused part of being. um, Really, when you think about all the endless cycles, the super entangled state of all the stars, and and all the tones that our pineal and whatever else, we're such a focused being. The magnetics of Earth and however it's all working, I think we're such a focused thing, and it's such a waste to just say, whatever, let's put in this whatever.
yeah.
It's a super cyborg. Notice we're better than the cyborgs. They've got a cyborg, well, for now. Better bite my tongue or something. But yeah, they're getting good. But for now we're cyborgus, organicus, and I believe that we are the head of creation. Actually, woman is head of creation and man is head of spirit, and blunt spearhead, I call us.
Mm.
And then they can sort that out in the head of creation style that women can.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
downward spiral.
I agree. Actually, yeah, I agree about that. I mean, I think you just source looking for whatever product you might need and just knowing people. I think it's about relationship too. But yeah, that's
Big
good.
time. Because when
Yeah.
I stumble in the right store, like Happy High Herbs, I'll have some footage from there. Happy High Herbs Company, that's a real apothecary. There's nothing
Mm.
like it anywhere.
Yeah.
The chemist is a poor attempt. In a recent video, I bought silica dioxide. Silica's a supplement for nails, hair, skin, hair as well, teeth.
Mhm.
Like, it's silica, it's for your bones. People are saying calcium's for your bones the whole time I've been, alive and up until 30. Now I'm
Mhm.
finding out from the actual health experts, like people who are really into it and not just the doctor
Yeah.
who's unhealthy looking telling me to take synthetics which are going to kill everything in my body anyway. I
Yeah.
understand what the medical doctors are doing and indoctrination and all of it, but
Yeah.
um, in the end, what are you choosing for your body? And to like really heal yourself and stuff, I think we need to go through our own body. And I think the apothecary, of Happy High Herbs, it targets more specifically. And plus, with that silica, I'll come back to that in a second with the tinctures and stuff. But the silica dioxide I bought, which is what I was talking about, I used to get silica just from horsetail and stuff in tea and celery. That's very absorbable silica. And I had to ask the chemist girl, what's going on with this product? And she couldn't really tell me. She said they've binded the silica with the dioxide to make it be able to absorb. And I went, oh, okay, whatever. It's like a gel. It looks gross. I'm going to take it. It's $30. Took it, felt nauseous, went, dioxide, what's that? Let's go Google. Googled the crap out of it and I posted about this and stuff. I
Mhm.
made a video. It's dioxide, it's double oxygen. What have I been raving on about for the last year? This is for my path. What have I been raving on about? I said to myself, antioxidation, and in the way of meditating and grounding. You've heard
Mhm.
of negative anionization, or
Mhm.
grounding through the
Yeah.
eyes of the feet, and they're not. It's this part of the feet here, not that
Uh,
eye, not
uh,
the main eye. That's different. But this is the grounding spot here. Yeah, my dirty feet. Munchkin feet. I've got many archetypes. um, now, so yeah, the grounding. What were we talking about?
I negative
Oh yeah,
and then ionization.
yeah. The anionization, or negative ionization, instead of the positron atmosphere, which is a
Mhm.
positive charge, which they're saying is related to all pain. And if you go sit on the ground and with your feet as well, stand and sit and stretch, you stretch it all out. You're doing yoga. Obviously, this is how yoga, was starting. I think with psychotropics, but anyway, that's not this conversation. Um, so why were we talking about the grounding butt? In relation to
Silica.
oh yeah, the silica.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
oh yeah.
since
Sorry. No, let me
yeah,
continue. I
yeah.
just lose my way. I talk in little circles. So uh, yeah, so what I've been going on about to myself for the whole last year is trying to delve really deep into antioxidization, and not just by the berries, but by the meditation techniques, right? And
Yeah.
the Kundalini technique is the one I really recommend for that one. And that's where you
Okay.
should first go. Goes Kundalini prana, the subtle energies, way before chiropractics and cracking things.
Mm.
You see, like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to,
Yeah.
it's better to be calm and let it go through. And sometimes I have some crazy energy, but it's better, I found, to be pushing it through calm first, and instead of cracking stuff, people go straight to the chiropractor. That means you've really let that area be sore. Like
Mm.
right now, I've got all these messages for my thymus. That's why I was just rubbing that. Anyway, so
Oh, okay.
you've got to see your path and all that. So anyway, there's back to this silica dioxide thing, and back to the
Mhm.
apothecary stuff. Um, So I bought a Gona silica, which is $90, had to order it from the US. Still got 2 bottles. They're going to last me, I don't know, a year or something. They're going to last a long time. There's 60 doses in one bottle, and I'm just taking one every day. And with that, you want to stretch it. Not just because it's expensive, but because it's silica, you want to sort of always have the uptake. It's like how you want to always have the uptake with bananas or vitamin Bs. And you don't need as much vitamin E. You can have vitamin E only like once every week or 2 weeks. It's less, you don't need it every day. Like, so it's the same thing with the silica. You can have it a bit less, I reckon. Now, you need it in diet because it's not anywhere, but it's like not in many of our foods that we commonly eat, at least, anyway. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, let me finish. Sorry. I don't want to sound rude, but I have to stay focused. So otherwise it's so easy to lose my way in my own way, in my own rigmarole. So when I talked to the chemist girl, she didn't seem to know what was going on, and so that's not a real apothecary. You're meant to go to the apothecary. You got the shaman doctor there healing you, or the sage lady there healing the crap out of you, right? Then
Right.
boom, bang, bang, bang. Kinesiology, this tincture, that, and so on. And this is where I'm getting into, and it's exciting for me. It feels good, and I get to play with all the medicines. And so
Yeah.
that's why I encourage other people to get into it. It's good for you, it's fun, and all that. And people say to me, "Why do you want to live 1,000 years, Ben?" Well, your statement shows me that you're in agony, because when I'm feeling good, why do I not want to keep living? It's vivacious life, and I feel good and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, just sometimes it perplexes me when people say, "Oh, why do you want to live 1,000 years?" Well, you're showing me that you're admitting subconsciously. They're not consciously admitting it, are they? They're subconsciously showing me that they're in pain. And no, it's not like that when you're in a cosmic ecstatic state. Oh, someone else is calling. I apologize for that. So the silica and the apothecary and stuff, to circle, we're going to start to circle back around, and we're going to go into the violet flame stuff.
Okay.
And I went over to the health shop next door, and then I showed them organosilica on the computer. She looked it up and she said, and I showed her what I just bought from the chemist, dioxide. This was before I researched it on the net and found out, dioxide, double oxygen, and that's the opposite of antioxidation. That's oxidation. And
Yeah.
I felt the positive charge. I'll feel it
Hmm.
in my hand, sensitive area. I'll feel it. It'll come there. Just when I eat stuff, a tincture, anything, stuff comes there. Like whatever the action is, there, and the heart too sometimes. But very much so, I can always feel it in my hands. It's interesting. I have big veins. I don't know if that means anything. I think it's energetic. Anyway, so I went over to the health shop. I showed her organosilica, the good one, and she goes, "This is it said monomethyl isotrol or something, or whatever it is, and she said this is an activated form because it's got the mono, I think, and the methyl, and methyl groups are what we need to detox with. Since World War II, some 80,000 new chemicals or whatever. This is a mass of chemicals since the world wars in the industrial age and so on. We have all these synthetics around us, and etc., and many of them are out of vibration, I might say, and very harsh, and pharmaceuticals are a good example. They kill all the bacteria, and we'll talk
Hmm.
about bacteria too if you want in a minute, the Human Bacterium Project, because Abraham mentioned that yesterday. Um, so, we kill with the harsh synthetics, and when I went to the health shop, the lady said about the good silica, not the one I bought from the chemist. She said, yeah, that's an activated form. And I went, oh yeah, I get it, because the monomethyl, it's going to go straight in there, it's activated. It's like when you ferment food, it's super absorbable. It's just fully activated and absorbable. There's layers on food, like you're meant to soak your nuts and seeds, because there's like chitin layers or whatever on there. There's all, when you delve really deep into the health world, there's all little nuances like that, and I think those two correlate. Anyway, so the monomethyl silica is like the actual organic form, and she said that too. And then when I have it, it pings me out, like my crown opens, and joy is coming from the crown. When the
Mm.
crown's open, you'll be experiencing joy too.
Mm.
I love to do the grant me self-realization, so I'm just holding that one, receiving energy in. And this is what I'll do on the ground. This is great antioxidation. This
Mm-hmm.
fully allows the negative charge to go all the way through me really quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
I can sit there for 5 minutes doing this, and it's like equivalent to me sitting there unconsciously grounding for half an hour. If I'm just sitting there looking and da da da, and if you're not even doing big breaths and
Mm.
releasing it down through your tailbone or your feet or whatever, that's more
Mm.
conscious grounding. I mean, half an hour of unconscious grounding versus when I'm consciously grounding for minutes even.
Mm-hmm.
15 and under minutes. Definitely it's cutting the time in half at least.
Yeah.
So I'll do this grant me self-realization, but this is not like an entire meditation. This is part of, if you go to Yoga Meditation Healing page, it's Dr. Villy Doctor came into the Google Tech Talks and she showed the Google Tech team so they can afford the best, right? And so showed the Google Tech team this meditation. It's by Shahaja, some Australian Indian lady, I think. It'll actually say that in a comment under the video, but it's basically a Kundalini technique, and it takes you through the associated ganglion, the middle nervous system, associations with each chakra, and that's like my favorite meditation. I've put it in my antioxidation video and the $30 Bandit Food Plant teaching series and on that meditation page, and I always talk about it to all my friends. I really like that one, Abraham. And
Okay.
that one's an hour long, and she'll take you over everything like you need to know. She's the expert.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so that's one I'd really like you to go have a look for. And it'll stop balding as well. Trust me, I've been receding with my IT work every day, tensing up by the end of the day. I feel like a robot, and oh my God, I've got some positive charge and pain on me after some days next to the computer. Right now, I've got the computer plugged into my head, and it's plugged in. Actually, I should take that out because that was plugged into the PowerPoint. So it's better I take that out of the PowerPoint. Now I can relax a bit more. I can feel the difference.
Well, the Hushu Wu tea is working on me. I've been noticing.
Oh, I feel the difference when I turn off the the power, the cord out of the power, so I'm not actually connected to the power. The static, that those cycles are not good.
Mm.
Those hertz, and yeah, the Hoshu Wu. But yeah, firstly, and the Hoshu Wu is in the apothecary, and it's not in the chemist, and that's really healing because that's like the top 10 of the Chinese medicinal system out of 10,000 herbs. Hoshu Wu's in the top 10. So it's like goji berries, but it's goji berries is chi energy. You'll notice it'll give you a lot of movement energy.
Okay.
Hoshu Wu is more container energy. Now I'm not pointing at my penis, I'm pointing down just before it becomes Shen,
Uh,
before it becomes Chi or Kui.
uh,
Down we have a container energy before it even sort of enters us, sort of thing, you might think of it, but it's us. It's our container energy called Jing. And
right.
black foods are associated to this, and Hoshu Wu is definitely Jing as well. Even though it's not totally black, I can feel a little bit of that there. It's not
Mm.
as much, it's not as pronounced as licorice or Romania, for instance. There, you'll know Jing after eating those two.
Mm.
That
What was the second one?
Romania, and I'll
Vermont.
soak that for up to 4 days, no longer. But I'll soak those little pieces up to 4 days, like reheating it, taking tea from the same few little pieces,
Mm.
and don't boil your water, just take it up to 70, 80 degrees, because then you're not
Mm.
cooking it, and then you
Yeah.
don't get a leukocytic or white blood cell reaction.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Okay.
found that out from David Wolf. I thought that was very interesting because it's just another way to keep your body flowing more gracefully and not shocking it too much. I'm Benjamin Kalmberg from Consciousazine. I do a lot of Shakti shock awakening, but I'm learning more grace and flow, and I can see this is more your energy, Abraham. You're more of the Buddha energy than me.
Well, I like.
Buddha and Christ are different. The moon chain and the earth chain, and I didn't write this, but it said that the Christs are the master of the masters, yet the Buddha has almost completely left the earth plane.
Mm.
And yeah, Buddha is moon chain or something, and then Christ is earth chain. I don't know what it exactly all means. It was about numbers, and it'll be in Consciousazine somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
The link will be in there somewhere amongst
Yeah.
the many.
You've already made me interested.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nice, because no, I can see this energy from you, Abraham. So that might be something for you to follow up. I don't know.
I want to look. I want to look into that. I've been interested in moon energy for the longest time.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Because I'm very interested in Earth, the Earth side of things, definitely more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very good.
So, I mean, you can see the energies. For instance, when we look at this guy, I'm telling you, he's a Maitreya Christ. It's how he acts. Look what he's saying. It could almost be seen as some people think the Maitreya Christ is like a devil Christ. No, it's because we're correlated to the indigo system buster. We'll have those energies together usually,
Mm.
and it's very strong when those two energies are together, like me and this guy on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely he has it too. And some people see it as a destructive Christ. However, how much do you really know about Jesus? You heard all the good stuff. I heard that he was a bit of a troublemaker.
Yeah.
I heard he was a walker, and
Yeah.
so on. So it depends how indoctrinated you are and how expanded your awareness has become of, that it was an edited book and so on, and they burnt 10 versions of the Bible and etc.
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
I heard, and I'm just saying, as a Maitreya Christ, I mean, no biggie, don't listen to me or anything. Someone else can probably tell you it, you know. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, and I believe that Jesus was definitely some sort of more of an indigo system busting energy than we've been led to believe, anyway.
Yeah. No, I totally see that.
Mm, I think
Yeah.
so. And he did get mad one time. Remember, there's only one instance or something in the Bible. He threw a
Yeah.
table over or something.
Through a table,
Yeah.
the money changers.
Well, Leonardo da Vinci called the people the ignorance.
Mm.
Anyway, and Dolores Cannon will go on about backdrop people, and then I'll go on about the organic portal theme. I think all those things are related, and it's got to do with not being in the upper
Mm.
Merkaba and light body vehicle, and they're just in the bottom triangle. Now, if they're just in the bottom triangle, well, there's those chakras, and you can start to see that by wanting to have kids, the root chakra, wanting to be social. Terence McKenna said a certain amount of alienation is required for sanity. And I
Mm.
notice with I call them normal societals organic portals, or spiritless humans, in the bottom Merkabic triangle.
Right.
It seems where their energy is focused. And then you've got the root chakra energy in their lives, and then you've got
Right.
the eating energy, and often meat. Just like no, I do eat meat occasionally, but
Okay.
yeah, still just because I'm not wealthy enough to eat hemp all the time and have the best foods every day. Hopefully, I'm moving into a place where I can.
Yeah.
But because I like what Osho said about meat, it makes you like the tiger, and he was talking about the hands, and again, how I said I feel it in my hand there. Osho must have been the same, that Osho
Mm.
fella, because he talked about the energy, just how I'll feel it. It's like there you'll feel this energy of like what you're eating, if it's like constricting you, if it's
Oh
when
yeah.
I have a CBD tincture, for instance, I see a green light that holds back pathogens. It's weird.
Mm.
CBD is one of the main compounds in cannabis, and it's
Yeah.
not the illegal part, which is the THC, and it's actually not yet called this, but I can see very obviously from how everyone's writing about it that it's an adaptogen, and no one's talking about that yet because it's you know illegal and so on, and people aren't aware of the different compounds in cannabis. They just think it's bad because of THC effect, and
Uh-huh.
then it relaxes people too much, and they stop listening to their bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
um, what were we talking about? It's too easy these days, the energy has switched into the new world. It's too easy. We're too aware. I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Riser said something, a way shower's words are a million times stronger than like an ignorance words. And I definitely am seeing the uppick. It's like the energy's rushing into me and standing behind me more and more. I was stripped into the eschaton 2012, and now I'm being added out of it. I'm just being given. I'm being built
Yeah.
back up. Now this is where I learnt the stripping building approach. The best example I always give is chlorella is more of a stripper. Spirulina will build you back up. That's just the
Hmm.
quickest example. I gave an example on someone's Justine Bruon's um, health talk, I think, about stripping and building with your teeth. Just, I take that general approach now. If you've got a problem, strip it, but don't forget to try and build it back up.
Mm.
You know, with the Hoshu Wu, it's all in there. It's in the top 10 for a reason. It's got
Uh,
it's got some serious action, you know, like it's almost like an adaptogen when they're in the top 10. That's almost how I see it. It's not
yeah.
exactly the case like maca is and so on. So it's not exactly the case, but it's a way I've saved it in my brain.
Yeah.
Let's not go into how my brain works.
It's like destruction and creation.
Yeah, that's the
Going together.
general idea. Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
stripping and then the building, and that's right. Matreyu Christs, we're really stripping real good, but notice we're building. This guy, if you
Yeah.
listen to him in his talk, he was just saying how the body is a barometer. Now, I think so too, and it was a good way to say it, and I used that word before. And I got that from that guy, this liminalist guy, just the talk this morning. And you know, it's something to take note of because if you strip it, you'll feel that, and then you should be able to feel when you're built up enough. Like you know how people say I don't feel like eating that anymore. Like I was after wakame for fructose, not fructose, fucose. Sorry, stuff that one up. Fucose, which is an essential sugar out of the 8 essential sugars. Eight
Mm.
essential sugars. I thought there was only essential amino acids and all this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right. Okay.
so no wonder we're getting so much diabetes and stuff in the world. We're taking the completely wrong sugars and you know all these synthetic shitstorm chemical things. And when we're missing completely the good sugars, the essential sugars like fucose and mannose and all these other ones. There's 6 other essential ones. Now, I was after wakame for the fucose. It's got to do with neurotransmission, and I could feel the difference in my brain after. It worked more smoothly, just like when I take omega-3s from hemp oil. It works
Mm.
more smoothly. I
Mm.
notice this. You feel yourself, you know, your body's your barometer.
Oh, that's good.
And don't
Yeah.
forget to build it back up when you're stripping. So with the Hoshu Wu, I also soak that like the Romania for up to 4 days, no more. That's just the most. It'll usually just be 3 days,
Okay.
and I'll reheat it. You know, have a tea and put more water in, reheat it, and do that for up to 3 days,
Do you
depending.
buy it? Do you buy it raw, or and then you prepare it, or where do you get the?
I
Was it Mania?
Romania. I also get Romania at Happy High Herbs.
Oh, okay.
They'll sell it in a little package, um, and I get that one from the Nimbin store, not the Yukai store where I get the Hoshu Wu. See, you got to shop around because we're not set up properly. The new world is being set up by us, you know, but it's not completely set up properly. Like in an ideal state, I'd be living largely much more on tinctures and I don't know, my diet would be different. Is what I'm
Right.
saying. Like I'd have hemp seed almost every day if I felt it, but sometimes it can make you sick if you have too much. And that's that
Mhm.
feeling. Just get used to feeling your body, and you get more and more sensitive. Um, the incense thing, yeah. See, like there's another meditation. This is like in the top 4 meditations is all I'm showing. That's all I'll really mention to people. Montauk Chia, the Google Tech Talks one, the Violet Heart Flame one, and the Throat Friction. This is the Throat Friction by Samuel Sagan. And if you look that one up, it's making a certain sound on the larynx to open or reveal the eye. And he'll play little sounds, and they're important too, because that harsh noise can create a static by itself because you might not do it perfectly. So he plays these little sounds, and it gives all the energy, centers it there, and starts to pulse and open that, and the throat friction. Good,
Okay,
good.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, so also on the meditation page. Oh yeah, in that video, that's why I was mentioning it. He was saying at the start, you know, leave a window a little bit open or something. I don't know, don't be too cold. All this stuff. Like you don't want to feel your senses when you're going into a real nice meditation. You don't want to. I don't want to be attached to the computer.
Mhm.
I don't want to be real cold. But you know, hey, we do chi meditations and we can start sweating in the ice. Chi masters,
No.
yeah, chi
Yeah.
masters do this,
Yeah.
and so on. But what he's saying is for just this, he's trying to give you a really light meditation and really trying to just open that eye really lightly again. And
Mhm.
I think that's
Mhm.
always a good idea before we go to. And I'm learning this because I'm very much male head of spirit, blunt spearhead, the way I move. I very much am. You're less so, but I'm very much like that. Anyway, I've been very antagonistic towards society because I've seen the ills my whole life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've seen that it's no measure of health to be adjusted to a profoundly sick society, like Krishnamurti said, and so on. I've seen
Right.
that my whole life, you know? And
Mhm.
that's the whole point with us indigos and why we're able to make the new world and we don't have all that brainwash there and we're pretty crystal clear for the golden crystal age. Now, let's go into the meditation I want to give you from me
Okay.
because that's perfect because it's what I want you to imagine is a golden structure on your bones. Basically,
Okay.
your bones at least coated with gold. You just see it like that. But actually the golden light is for bone healing, healing the bone marrow all the way through. Now there's a comfrey balm I recently showed on my 2015 road tripping video. A Reiki lady makes it. I think Reiki 7th dimensional because I see fluoro colors and it's the higher sound light. It's not the 5th dimensional living light, thicker white light 5th dimensional light.
Mhm.
It's the higher sound light of the 7th dimension. Anyway, so that's why I think Reiki 7th dimensional. I've got a video, multi-dimensional healing. Um, so she makes this comfrey balm with beeswax and comfrey the plant, and it's the best thing. It seems to reach to my bones. I said to Keita at the Ukai store, the apothecary, Happy High Herbs, what's this stuff meant to do? She said, heals down to your bones. I went, you said it straight away and everything. Like, you know, I was thinking that that's what was happening. I was
Oh,
feeling it.
felt.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
feeling it, going, what's going on here? This is awesome. Like, this is
Yeah.
the best thing. It's better than coconut oil and etc. And anyway, it was a thing for me, a sign of that it's the golden age, and it's a little gold thing. I get all these, even down to the little signs like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be alert, be tactile in your eye, and be aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it's the golden crystal age, and chrysanthemum, the word to me means not just golden flower, which is like the definition you might find on the internet. To me, from gnosis, from looking in my eye, it's a crystalline golden flower because it's 6th dimensional, and that's the gate of heaven that sits on the 5th dimensional crystalline living light layer, which is the crystalline light body light that everyone's talking about. Get out of ego, Eckhart Tollean philosophy, and we're moving into a 5th dimensional Earth, 5D Earth. You've heard all that stuff, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's this is it. That's that light.
Mm-hmm.
That's that notion. Apparently, we're moving quickly to the 7th dimension by 2032, and I'm not going to talk about that right now. So it's a golden crystal age, the age of Aquarius, but more, because the age of Aquarius to me is in correlation with the Andromedan enlightenment, which it currently is via the Octurian alignment. Octurian alignment is this blue-white energy, and the restorative purple-pink-violet flame is indeed Andromedan. And this is what I want to teach you guys today, correlate all of this in. The Andromedan enlightenment, we can get Octurian alignment via IT, making you more spiritual even. It's an algorithmic light. The Octurian light's an algorithmic light. We won't talk about the Syrian white impermeable light that I use often. It's a very strengthening light. It's like impermeable. But the restorative purple eclectic flame of Andromeda, and it is eclectic, and even the star beings of the Sirius Pleiades, the Octurian, they all speak of the Andromedan enlightenment. It's our twin galactic feminine galaxy for the Milky Way, and I'm not talking about the constellation of Andromeda. So there's where the purple stuff comes from more. Saint Germain had it. She channeled that into the world. I'm also channeling it in. Rise has channeled it in. We just watched his golden violet heart flame meditation. So he's channeling it in too. He's good with IT and Adobe. It's channeling Arcturian light, I'm telling you. IT is an incision, a forced incision.
Mm.
Now, notice we've mastered metal through all these bronze, iron ages and so on, and we've mastered metal. And now there's talk of moving into the soft metals more. You know, we've got copper wire. Like, I mean, we've really mastered metal. We sit in exoskeleton cars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've made them fly. There are flying cars now. I heard there's hoverboards. Anyway, or I've seen a hoverboard. Anyway, or a magnetic hoverboard. Anyway, so we're moving, you know, through that metallicness. There's also a process of densification I've noticed in the universe, from electron field at the Big Bang to, you know, RNA, DNA, and complex biology, but it's soft, to these polymers. There's plastic everywhere in the world, and there's xenoestrogen effect. Plastic biphenyl A acts as a xenoestrogen in your brain, which is aging. That's aromatization. And sorry, I lost my way there.
It's all right.
That was a complex one. I'm going to come back around, I'll probably remember. Anyway, we've moved, that's what I was doing. We've moved through, you know, into this biology, and then to these plastics, the polymers, and we've mastered the metal. And now there's talk of this golden crystal age. You hear people say just golden, but I want to emphasize crystal there too. DMT is coming to the forefront as the head hallucinogen of Earth,
Mm-hmm.
the most powerful hallucinogen. DMT, it's a crystal. Salt. There's a book written about the salt crystal. We've got, you know, sodium chloride, which I was fortunate enough to research as having a LD50, 2,000 or 3,000 merely less than glyphosate, what you spray on your plants, which has hormonal action to kill the plants, and glufosinate, you know, what's it called, Roundup and that. So you got the salt crystal, and a book was written about, you know, there's that, what I just said about sodium chloride on the table salt, which is bad, because the LD50 is only, like, I think it was 3,000 or 2,000, and glufosinate's 5,000. Anyway, and psychedelics are in the 100 range. So it just shows you, like, the LD50 of ecstasy is like 125 milligram per kilogram. You don't want to take that. It's a synthetic. It's quite bad. Anyway, so it's salt. There's another crystal. And there's a book written about how salt and water is before anything else you eat, anything else you do. Salt and water. And we know how important water is.
Yeah.
But see, it's being emphasized now on the timeline. Salt, another crystal. What else was there? There was another one. Basically, was it sugar?
Well,
Pardon?
silicon, silica. You're taking silica. That's a crystal, no?
Thank you, Abraham. That was perfect. Yes, it is a crystal. God. I'm just happy who I surround myself with these days.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about quartz? I mean,
that's I'm
blessed to know
a
you,
lot of
Abraham.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
connection. Um, so yeah, quartz, and you've got the rose quartz for the goddess energy, and the clear quartz and all that. And
Right.
yes, that's being brought to the forefront, isn't it? Crystal
Yeah.
healing. I've done a video on crystal
Yes.
healing. It's becoming a little less esoteric and becoming a little bit more accepted, and I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it'll become way more accepted. And
Yeah.
I found a rock recently that I can put on any part of my body, and it's got some sort of geometry in there. When I can breathe through it, it'll heal it. I'm putting it
Wow.
on my body, and it's working. Even my shoulders getting less sore and all this stuff. So, anyway, that's
Wow.
psychosomatic, because
Yeah.
that's where the guilt ganglion is, and I'm always seen as guilty because I'm very forefront. I've carried this with me for years through the eschaton, but it's fading from me because the
Uh,
new world is aligning to me. I'm said to be the future and communicate telepathically. I'm one of the indigos here, the indigo saviors. Well, I don't see anyone else doing it. Yeah. There's only us that I see in the backdrop, people doing what? Being habitual nature. What did Terence McKenna show us with the time wave zero? That there's a nature in the universe that's just habit versus novelty. Anyway, we're going to the golden crystal age. We're talking about some crystal stuff. Let's talk about a few gold things. So we're
Okay.
learning about ormus, monoatomic white gold. I've had this in drinks with Celtic sea salt or just pure sea salt, because that's a decalcification thing for the pineal as well, by the way, the pure sea salt thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I met a witch.
Yeah.
I slept with a witch. Hey, I'm young.
Okay.
I'm young. I just met her online. It was another. My life is like synchronicity overload. I'm the site creator of Consciousazine. It has to be this way. I'm an amalgam man at the end of history, standing, not kneeling in the sight of the old kings. Anyway, I met a witch. She gave me the best Ormus brew I've had. Later, I couldn't even get a good one on the internet as good. Have not tried David Wolf's yet though, but I got a local one. Didn't work so well. It was weaker, noticeably weaker, because the little buzzing was not half an hour. Like the first little capful I had from this girl had colloidal silver, monoatomic gold, and Celtic sea salt. That's the mix. And whoa, just the tingling in the limbic, in the middle brain, and the opening of the crown, the tingling and the opening of the crown. Whenever I have something good, and I said it about the silica, the good orgona silica before, it pings me out. I'll just call that pings me out my crown. And the dioxide brought me back into body, crampish and a downer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's pain causing, and the two oxygen atoms and everything. So it's the golden age, and we're going to have this is resonated through to show everyone, to make everyone very aware. I just said a few things about a few crystals, and that correlating to it being just not the golden age, but golden crystal age. Now, I've had visions of Lumeria in the future. I will say that is not in the past, or Atlantis. Now, the resonances, the theory of resonances, show how periods in the past and future are in connection with each other. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
understand resonances and the theory of resonance that the time wave puts forth, that Terence McKenna made. And so you have to just realize that although I say it's not in the past, the resonance was there. But if you understand what I'm saying, there will be like a more focused form of it in the future. And actually, I think that's how the entire reality works. The power is in the future, not out
Mm-hmm.
of nowhere for no reason. In a happenstance universe, I think we're being pulled from the future through meaning and reason. And
Mm.
this is exactly 100% backward from society's notions.
Mm.
Notice, though, how much society is backward. We're treating
Yeah.
by death. You got lawmen dressed in uniforms of brutality, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. This stuff the shit runs deep in Shit Creek. Anyway,
Yeah.
so the golden age resonance will come through with what I'm about to show you, golden healings, um, gold nano cage diabetic drug delivery straight to the cell.
Mm.
Gold
Yeah.
monoatomic ormus is actually a superconducting. It works for the human blood on an alchemical superconductive manner, you know, in a manner of making it It would help your spinal fluid on incoming incident hard radiation or cosmic evolution. The subtle rays. Yeah, I'll have to think about that more later. Don't want to lose myself. So yeah, the gold is basically, and there's an article you can read on the net about a scientific experiment alongside what I've just said there, how it enhances the human blood. Gold, gold. I read that gold was made out of meteorite crashes, but it sounds too stupendous to be true. I don't know. Is it like crystals are formed under intense pressure? Notice a lot of us indigos are, well, with this pain, I've been under intense pressure. The stripping into the eschaton was hectic. I tried to kill myself and everything. I'll put it out there. It was 100% hectic. However, depression has affinity with novelty, so we're lucky I didn't take my life. Yeah, but so that's not a laughing matter because some people are depressed now. I just want everyone out there to realize, notice you're in a deep connotation when you're depressing. And the time wave zero went down. Habitual nature, feeling good, yeah. Killing everyone at Tiananmen Square where the wave turned. Mass murder was a habitual way to take care of things. So the novelty would have been there, totally the opposite then, wouldn't it? Right. So novelty, when the time wave's going down, a density of connection is increasing. And notice when you're depressive, you're thinking, and when you're so uber happy, you're not really thinking much. Oh yeah, you're just clear and yeah.
You're in the moment.
Yeah, and there are great things to be said about it. I'm not putting it down, but what I'm saying is what everyone else is not really saying. I'm trying to go in a different direction and reveal light in a dark spot. That's all I'm doing. So if anyone's like, oh, he's talking about this and depression and, well, what are you doing? You could be saying this and that. Well, just think about what I'm doing there. Actually, I'm just trying to shine some light on a dark spot.
Yeah, sure. So
I think depression has affinity with novelty. And we'll just quickly mention this because this is a health consultation. Pumpkin seed oil, L-tryptophan, precursor of serotonin, is in pumpkin seed oil. You can eat pumpkin seeds, but I found the oil. I posted about this the other day. I was very excited. You want to take...
Did you buy it or did you make it?
No, I bought it.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's burnt, so they haven't done... I don't know if they've roasted it too much or something. I don't know if it's meant to taste like that. But I'll know soon because I'll figure it out. But yeah, so it's got the precursor of serotonin, and a huge thing. Let's, before we go into the healing, talk about the human bacterium project to do with this, because that's where this is headed. So serotonin, 90% of it is in the gut, and there's this big thing about gut-brain axis health at the moment, and so obviously if your gut is in a good way, and that's why I posted that post yesterday, Probiotica, an upcoming film I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And there are 10 times more bacteria on us than we are cells. Like you were saying, your friend said we're made up of more bacteria yesterday in a message. I said, yep.
Yep.
And 10 times apparently.
Yeah,
bacteria.
like that.
So, wow. I think I was just trying to come up how many cells we had, but I forgot the number. I think it might be in the order of 50 trillion. I can't remember if that's the right number. If it's 10 or 5 or if it was 50 trillion. It's a lot. And so we have a lot of cells, and we have a cell-mediated immune system, and this is what I think is the foremost immune system, because I think reality works from the inside out. However, the establishment will probably say that think that the humoral immune system is what I'll think is the second, because it's facing the world. They'll probably think that because it's facing the world, it's the first immune system. Okay, that's all I was just trying to say. So from my perspective, or what I'm trying to at least put forth or whatever, is that I think the cell-mediated immune system is our number one, and it can act on the humoral system. Like, I'll spit out because the vibratory difference between my light body and cell-mediated light refraction indices, and the difference between those vibrations that I'm letting in and healing myself, say I have a ticklish throat, and the ticklish throat. And then there's different in vibration, so my body starts to purge it, and I'll spit, and people go, oh, but better out than in, I've heard someone say before, and I'll just say that again. And here's why, because it's the humoral system. 4 humors are bile, blood, phlegm, the other one,
What's it?
lymph system. Sorry,
Oh,
lymph system. And the lymph system, remember, is like 6 times more than your blood, too. So something to remember. Clarity might have something to do with the lymph system, in my opinion. Like a general clarity of feeling and sensitivity. You really can clog yourself if you clog your lymph system, like clog your feeling, your higher receptivity. Like at the end of that gold ring video when you felt really receptive and clear, yeah, I'm correlating that to lymph system clearing. What were we talking about? I've lost my way. It's lucky that you can always find the way again if you lose your way. Hey, you can crawl your way back to the center of the magnet. Anyway, what were we talking about?
that was you were getting into meditation, then you talked about pumpkin.
The Human Bacterium Project and that.
Yeah, there you go. That's
and the serotonin and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we were just talking about the pumpkin seed oil for serotonin and why, because they've put pharmaceutical drugs out there that serotonin is like basically their A game, right? Like that's the.
It's like they're pushing it. They're pushing it.
Like it's the establishment's pharmaceutical A substance, the A team of their pharmaceuticals or whatever, It's their substance number 1 for depression. Like serotonin, it's all researched, it's etc. So that's why I mentioned, why not try and get it from a more natural form without killing stuff in you, without doing it in a real harsh manner, because it can be an overload in a real bad way. The pharmaceuticals and the synthetics, all synthetics, because nature has been doing this for millions of years, and it's constructed it so subtly, and you've got to watch out when man's just gone bang, 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 here, buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said before about the incense, you just want to be careful and watch that throat friction video, because like in a more sensitive state, you'll smell that. And it'll put you off what you might have been seeing in your eye, which is much more important. But I understand what incense is all about, and my friends used to use it. I've never enjoyed them. Never. Yeah, isn't that funny? Before all this information, I never enjoyed them. So I have a lot of that in my life. I'm walking the way. I am the light, the truth, and the way, like Jesus said. And then I'll get shown the information, so people must believe me, I think. Because otherwise they're like, oh, who are you, and what do you reckon?
Yeah.
And, I think that's why it happens, anyway. So, Human Bacterium Project, yeah, we've got it.
Oh, give me some of your probiotics. What do you take?
Well, I was just about to go into all this just then on a little spiel, because on another circle, we're walking and talking in circles here. It's very confusing, but it all connects up. So the Human Bacterium Project's shown us that, that there's more bacteria. Now, there's a guy called Dr. Robert Kazar. I like his method of transition, that you don't want to just bomb yourself with tinctures straight up. I've worked myself towards that in my health walk. I take a lot of tinctures now, if I can afford it, as soon as I can afford it. Because it's such targeted healing. Anyway, so the Human Bacterium Project has shown us that we should live in harmony with the bacteria. Their idea is to map the good bacteria. Not like we map the genes, the Human Genome Project. They're trying to map all the bacteria. We know that there's good bacteria, otherwise we wouldn't be alive, right? If it was all bad bacteria, we'd probably die even quicker than we do. And we don't die too quick, except for people who die at 50, because that's like that's exactly 1/3 of where they reckon the telomeres on the end of each chromosome can go to.
Mm.
Every time, aging mainly in a cellular manner is caused by this,
Shortening.
the shortening of the telomeres, and everyone knows about this. It's very in the health field, so I'm glad you know about that. And it's out there, and apparently that can last till 150 years. So when you're dying at 100, you're doing all right. If at 50, it's not so good. It's like a third of the way. And what are you doing? You can do better. Don't you want to have the best day ever?
Yeah.
Why not have the best time ever? Hey, and like that's why I've grown so attached to like all these modalities of healing, because it's just making me feel good as well. But
Mhm.
it's making them more joyous and everything. Like I said, joy is emanating from the crown and all the stuff, all the energies, and God, it's a complex world. Couldn't just go on forever. So some of the things that you might want to do to help your human bio microdome is what they're
Mhm.
calling it,
Mm.
aptly. Is Dr. Robert Kazar. I think he's great because he just the message of slow transitioning, that it's not about going from eating that steak to eating the hemp seed the next day, and then
Mhm.
that's it. You might take 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Right.
I do this. It's
Right.
transitioning. Don't
Yeah.
don't anyone out there, don't discourage yourself and think, oh well, that person's doing that. How come I can't do that? You just work your way there. Like David Wolf, when he says, I wake up taking silica hydride, I think it is, which is based on the Healthy Hunz's water, silica wrapped around hydrogen. Hydrogen in German means generator of hydro, water.
Mhm.
And what do we want to stay hydrated, because the most chronic illness, dis-ease, in the world is, I think, chronic dehydration. No, I
Yeah.
have so many friends that don't even drink water. Like maybe that's it for the day. Like they've had a drink of water and then they'll drink like alcohol or this or that or yeah. So Dr. Kazar really has a nice way to think about it all. He faces and confronts that there's bacteria living in you, that there's worms and etc. And people think they don't have worms. Yes, you have worms. There's worms when you walk barefoot on the ground attaching to your feet. I
Mhm.
mean, I
Yeah.
mean, when you go into the microbiome world, we start to see a different world. The archaea, bacteria, and eukaryotes, whatever. But when the single-celled or the multi-celled organelle organisms, when we go into any of these worlds, like not even into the microscopic, we see a different world, right? And we can see this by the realization of thinking about 10 times more bacteria than cells. I'm almost not me, I thought.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what is this? Okay, so it's the past, definitely. Hanging on. It's the past hanging on. The meat eating, everything has to be symbiotic for anything to happen. And it's a body, it's suborchus aganicus, it's a complex body. It has to be all symbiotic and stuff. Like, that's why the pharmaceuticals hurt you, because they're not symbiotic. Um, and that's why nature, all these natural substances, you get like these natural highs and you feel good, and they heal the pain and so on. They address the problem and the bacteria associated in a way that's balanced and not just stripping. They seem to be builders as well. So that they seem to be the package, and it's like man hasn't quite got that concept in the laboratory yet. I have the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, not properly anyway, because when we're touching silica to dioxide, there's a worry.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, so some things I might do, like I said the other day, is like this coconut kefir. Doesn't taste so good to me. I can't really have too much of it. What I've been loving, and however, I would probably move to the kefir after I have the kombucha, but what I've been loving is the kombucha. Make it, Abraham. I'm not fortunate to have a homestead. I can't make my own kombucha, but I would so be brewing that up like, oh, like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there's a few good videos you can watch on the internet. Obviously, it's just basically a yeast bacteria culture, good bacteria. See, there we have an example of good bacteria. So there must be good bacteria on our body. And coconut oil, I rub on myself almost every day in the shower
Mm.
for that reason. There's a very balancing, and for the fungal stuff, look into the coconut oil. The kombucha, it's a living bacterial fungal thingy called a SCOBY. I think the SCOBY is an acronym. But it's already a symbiotic thing, right? It's there being symbiotic before it even gets to you, and then it's
Yeah.
symbiotic with our gut. And it's like how the fungus under the tree roots have been found to carry nutrients for tree roots, from tree root to other tree root.
Mm-hmm.
And the forest is alive and talking and sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're singing to each other too, by the way. And yeah, the birds learnt how to sing from the trees. Quote Benjamin Callenberg. So the kombucha seems to me to make a really nice base, and it's a builder. You would strip with chlorella, you'd strip with activated charcoal. Have you heard of that?
I have. I use chlorella. I haven't done activated charcoal though.
Yeah,
Um,
that.
but I had to take charcoal to get stuff out for in the hospital. You know, and things that
Excellent. So
so I know what that's about.
yeah,
It's like a purger,
well
I
that's it.
suppose.
That's the stripping. So yeah, just strip first, and then I want to talk more about the builders, because I mean the stripping, everyone knows that. You can walk into the health shop and like there's a whole aisle of stripping. You know, the got activated charcoal there, and your chlorella there, and this and that. I also like the substances that are the stripping and the healing, and like spirulina is like such a great example of stripping and building in one thing.
Mm.
Like if you wanted to leave out chlorella and just go spirulina, I'd rather
Mhm.
that option than leave out the spirulina completely and always just chlorella.
Yeah.
That being said, though, chlorella is only one atom away in its molecule from being human blood. It's got iron at the center of our blood, and the chlorella's got magnesium. And remember, magnesium is a spark of life, and definitely is going with the zinc and the
Hmm.
iron energy. Now, before I said about CBD tincture and my coca leaf tincture, it's a stimulant upper. I see this real pathogenic pushing uh, light coloured green light from that tincture. Uh, what was the thing I mentioned before the tincture?
Spirulina. Before that, kombucha, coconut oil.
I can't remember anyway. It's alright. It was about the energy of sun. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I'm so full of information anyway, who cares? Um, so yeah, like do your stripping, and
Okay.
and then do the building. That's obviously like a main thing I always think about now. This is just what I'm thinking about at the moment. In 5 years, it might be a different talk altogether. But these are axioms. You know, an axiom is like the speed of light in science. That's an axiom, what an axiom is. So the stripping builder thing is an axiom. And this is what I try to depart to people. Teach a man to fish. Don't give him the fish and then he goes hungry tomorrow.
Mhm.
Like Jesus said, right? Jesus said, teach a man to fish. So that's like what I'm trying to go off. I'm just thinking as I'm talking to you. It's it's just trying to see what's coming. So you know, we want to be nice to all these bacteria if there's so many of them. it's a process because there's good ones and there's bad ones, right? In the context of, I don't know, whatever. In the,
You talked about candida on that post that you just made. That's one of the yeah. And antibiotics, how they were bad for us.
Yeah, well, the antibiotics are, again, the pharmaceutical that, like, goes in and kills everything.
Yeah.
So, like, if you take an antibiotic, it just goes in your body and kills, like, good bacteria too. So what I was just about to say was, like, it is a process. You have to be nitpicky because there's good and the bad ones, and you're going to take out some of the good ones here and there. You're going to take out some of the bad ones, thank God, here and there, but not enough maybe one time, and etc. And you just got to learn it all. So it's just, I try and get across to not get discouraged so much. You'll see, because a lot of people, I find, are getting discouraged very easily, and
is it because there's too much information, or why?
It's because they're too brainwashed. Like, it's cognitive dissonance, because the cognitive dissonance is like a sound. Like, when I talk to people, sometimes they have cognitive dissonance against me and whatever I'm saying. I don't know if it's the way I look or if what I'm saying, because it doesn't matter to me right now. What I'm trying to depart to is sometimes that there's a sound there and I can't get through that huzz. I call it the huzz. It might be the same as the organic portal hive mind, if you read about organic portals on the 2 links I provided, not the Cassiopeia download channel. I haven't read that yet, so I can't talk about it. So Candida and the human microbiome, yeah. So Candida's a tricky one because it can change form and can be in your skin, making it rash. You want to take, like, when Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. It's funny. I've been thinking about it a lot in the last few years, and this sounds wrong. It can't be any other way, but it's like, what I mean by that is, if you do that, you can't even fit in any crap. Is what I've noticed, because there's so much good stuff. Like, even though we're only at the start of, like, the new world or whatever, there's so much stuff already. Like, you walk into Happy High Herbs and, like, bang, 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 just, you're covered in healing in like 2 seconds. You know what I mean? But, like, there's a lot of targeted, there's a whole wall of tinctures there, and they've got a million actions, and Candida changes forms and stuff, and what I do for the Candida is the kombucha, obviously, because it's its own little thing. It's going to establish its own colonies, which makes less room for the crap or the Candida. Like I was just saying, like, when you move to just eating this way, like visiting Happy High Herbs and going in there, it excites me just to be in there and learning. This is what I do in my spare time now. I talk to my friend Keita there, and we discuss like crazy, and what's this do, what's that do, and I want to learn as much as possible to treat myself as best as possible, and help everyone else, obviously. So Dr. Kazar has a video called Connecting the Dots I'd like you to watch, and everyone else too. He has a lot of other videos, but that's like a good place to start, because it's like a broad overview of kind of his style, and it gives you the feel of the whole thing, of transition slowly. Don't get too discouraged. Everyone's transitioning. We all have to transition. No one's just going bang over there. And like I said before about David Wolf, how he can wake up and just have his silica hydride tablet, this powder, and indole 3-carbinol, the broccoli extract, anti-tumoral and all that. He wakes up and he has that because he's had 16 heads of kale before in one sitting. I saw that in his talk. If you go to longevity, if you just type in longevity now and longevity warehouse into YouTube, you should find the playlist. I think it's longevity warehouse playlist, and he's the main part of that. And it's the women's wellness conferences in LA that he's holding, and I think he's #1 in the health field, David Wolf, because he lived it so thoroughly. Just back there, the last 20 years when everyone was fucking around, he was so focused through it. He had 16 heads of kale. He now can exist on tinctures and a few powders Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's really walked all the way through. He went from the kale to the powder. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like a trajectory thing. And
That's his path. That's his.
no, do you know, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like he's been like he would have experienced so much of the health world, is what I was saying. Like he
Yeah.
would have, from experience, not from reading about it, experienced,
Right.
I reckon, so many nuances. You know what I mean?
Right.
That it wouldn't be funny. Like he'd be just great to talk to. And every video, I love every one of his videos. Anyway, so Dr. Kazar, I think they know each other too because I've seen them at a talk together. One of the old videos. So Dr. Kazar, he's from Hawaii. He has a skin clearing video which is really good. That'll help your lymph system, and your skin is your major big organ. I take good care of my skin. I like surfing because I get the Ormus effect, or the orms and the sea salt, which is, I think, fifth dimensional correlation orms. I think they're molecules reaching into a higher dimensionality. Yeah. And I'm not the only one, I think, that thinks along those lines. Now, David Hudson, the founder and the finder and creator of ORMS, would probably agree along those lines. And when I surf, it's known that they're in the water. I remember reading some of his stuff years ago, and he was talking about how it's in the water. So we're not talking about just monoatomic drink gold. That's where Ormus, the name, came from. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Orms are these, like, yeah, it's like this white gold stuff and reaching into high dimensionality, because remember what I said about the gold helping the human blood be more superconductive alchemically. That is also reaching fifth dimensionally to the unpolarized, without yet fourth dimensional tangential emotionality and third dimensional compartmentalization. Just the fifth dimensional reach of these things. When I surf, it's the best example. I get that all over me. My skin is ecstatic, and my cell-mediated immune system goes, I'm on, switch, 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 I'm bang, bang, I'm perfect. It switches, it gets rid of all the static, it definitely grounds you, and it gets the light of what I call the cell-mediated immune system refraction indices. I'm just trying to get you the idea of light bouncing around that between your cells. That's how your cells are communicating via Li-Fi. Liwi. That's what they want to create. Not Wi-Fi, they want to create Li-Fi. Information over visible light spectrum, which is how nature does it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that we're trying to create that. So you can see again, society's backwards there because we've gone Wi-Fi, and again with the immune system thing, how I said that, you know, the establishment would see it that facing the world. So that's like, that is what they treat with their pharmaceuticals. They treat that humoral. How are they treating the cell-mediated immune system with pharmaceuticals? No, 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 that's not what they're doing, because they'd be meditating if that's what they were doing. Right, inside out, because the humoral one facing the world, your humoral bile, your blood, your lymph, everything that's the physical stuff really facing the world, or third dimensionalities,
Mm-hmm.
compartmentalization. Third dimension is a zonal reality, like everything touching is second dimensional things touching. By the way, nothing actually touches if you watch that Down the Rabbit Hole movie. What
Yeah,
a
yeah.
mind blow. So everything's one, but it's not touching, because it's going back to the fulcrum of the still single light.
Mm.
That's the fulcrum for the lever of matter.
Mm.
Or it's said vertical spirit and horizontal matter. I've heard Riser 5 from Goldring say that. Anyway,
Mm.
back to, that's a nice little talk. Let's go back to the human bacteria. Dr. Kazar, again, I'm just going to say it because I want you to watch his stuff. He's just good. He's just, he's doing it in a shamanic essence, which is natural and not synthetic. He's not just a medical doctor under indoctrination. I think he was a chiropractic doctor or something. But what I like
Uh-huh.
about these guys, and that's why I'm pointing you towards those guys, is they're more established than me. They can help you in ways that I can't yet, because I've got no structural things around me yet. I'm flying solo, and I'm still in a walking around the world phase. I'm about to finish my degree and then walk around the world and
Mhm.
heal, heal people. And I'll start in Uruguay at the ICP Healing Center with Veronica. So you can add Veronica if you want to, Veronica Zampano, if you want. She's part of the ICP Healing Center in Uruguay. And then I'm headed to the Amazon to take ayahuasca to help my mental state.
Mm.
Because, and you think, well, you seem all right, Ben. Well, there's mental imprints from the sick society. I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay.
The definition of being spiritual is being vertical in your own light column, not just horizontally made up of other people's thoughts and what they want you to do and society and that stuff. Terence McKenna talks so much about culture is not your friend and ideology, and how he said that word, ideology. Don't attach, don't attach to third dimensional aspects of ideas and so on. Like, nothing really is bad and nothing really is wrong and so on, right? Because it's all for experience. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? All that stuff.
Yeah.
So the kombucha, easy to brew, easy to learn how to brew. You get like black tea, you put in like brown sugar. The fermenting, I'd rather talk about the fermenting. Now, and if you get really into the kombucha, oh man, please do. I wish I could. Realize how lucky you are, like to be able to do that. Benjamin Calbo from Site Creative from Consciousazine can't even get a good kombucha brewing. I have to go make it in the forest or at a friend's house or something. I just don't feel like doing that. I'd rather buy it at the moment unless things get really dire. But you know what I'm saying? Feel what you are. That
Mm.
not be too prideful
Mm-hmm.
arrogant about it, but just realize, be grateful for, some of the stuff we've got access to, like walking into Happy High Herbs is better than how the pharaohs could have lived. They traded immense amounts of gold for little essential oil bottles, mind you. So what I just said is true. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now cognitive dissonance comes in when you're having a hard time accepting new information. That's what a dissonance is. There's a vibration. When I said that to you, I felt it just then a little bit. Everyone displays this. I'll display it with, if someone says something for uh, or the wrong thing to be said, I'll display it even. Everyone's going to, because we are a third dimensional zonal reality, or I am Ben, you are you, because everyone is like that, and we're all different, everyone will carry, and here's a concept I've not heard anyone say. You can't get too far ahead of the crowd. I've found it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard unless you're Yogi Barbie Pura and walking around in the forest just meditating your whole life. It's really hard to get out in front of Earth's population and just the crowd of everyone. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like you constantly get pulled back down. It's really hard. It's a vibration thing and it's frequency control too. There's
Mm-hmm.
several factors there, I reckon. But let's get back to the bacteria stuff. Um, so the kombucha, uh, even just eating a coconut oil spoon for a while, like you won't do that for the rest of your life. You'll do that for just doing that. That's like part of your progression in that transition of, transitioning your terrain modification.
Mm.
It's a terrain with all these bacteria everywhere, right? It's a terrain you've got to walk through with your eye.
Mm.
With your third eye, you've got to see it, because you can't go like that and see it with your eyes. So I talked about Li-Fi and how I think the universe happens from the inside out in the cell-mediated refraction light indices, and I read once about a sick atom being able to be healed about with the atoms around it, and that's when you pulse this light, and it's very much chi energy too. The chi
Mm.
masters, they'll know about this, and I bet they don't get sick. And when you stay on this meditating, you won't be able to get it. How long has it been? Like a decade. I had a respiratory tract infection like 2 weeks ago. I
Mm.
won't go into that because I let it go into me via something. I don't want to mention, but I could have avoided it, and then I would have been able to say I haven't been sick for a decade. So good one, Ben. Anyway, so there's another layer of it, that you are a zonal reality, that you don't want to let things in, be careful of what's in and out, and that's hygiene and etc. So now we're really learning hygiene, but we're learning hygiene on the inside and stuff now.
Meditation hygiene,
Yeah,
kind
but
of.
not that, but I mean, not having rancid oils, replacing,
Yeah.
say, if you eat a hash brown from McDonald's with the rancid oil, or replacing whatever rancid oils, like an omega-3 product that's gone off as rancid. Replacing rancid oils with good oils, like the coconut oil and fresh hemp oil and so on, that isn't like real old or whatever. So replacing rancid oils with the good oils, and this is part of a ketogenic diet as well, and it's getting off sugar, and sugar is like one of the biggest addictions in the world. I'd probably say the biggest addiction in the world right now, and also sugar acts as cocaine on the dopamine receptor, the same way as cocaine, and it's very addictive. So you move to an oil-based diet more, and you start to get your good fats. We used to think the good fats were, or just fats made you fat and all this, and cholesterol. It's actually not related to the cardiovascular disease like they used to think at all. If you have a look at all the new research, I'm just reading about it recently. And so coconut oil is obviously number one. Olive oil with oleorupine. In a way, olive oil is like better in a way, because it's in the top 5 longevity substances due to the oleorupine. And I've got that in my 2014 summer foraging video, all about olive oil. I went right into it. You've got olive leaf extract and stuff, obviously. We all know about this sort of thing, like the general apothecary sort of stuff that most people know about. So you can take a little bit of coconut oil for a while to start purifying that gut tract, because it's heavy antifungal. Candida is a fungus. Okay, so taking kombucha, it's going to start to make its own little colonies in you, and there's less room then for the candida colonies. And it's like kombucha really attaches. I feel that energy. It's like really attaching to me and doing like good colonizing. That's how it feels to me in my gut tract. 40-foot intestinal tract, so you want to take care of it. A lot of diseases coming from that, IBS and all this, and colitis and etc. And oh God, I hope I don't go to the poo bag or whatever. Hey, um, I'd like to avoid it, because I think it would be nice to not have that. So coconut oil, just a spoon at night and a spoon in the morning. Oleorupia olive oil, actually I'll drink it. Then you've got the pumpkin seed oil, very much building, because we're building up the serotonin. We may have stripped, with people my age, alcohol consumption, just stripping, oh man. And you're unmethylating your body by drinking all the time. It's ruining your liver. Your liver detoxes all these chemicals in the world via methylation, and the dose is 2 beetroots a week, the best absorbable methyl groups. 2 beetroots a week in your smoothie. You just do that for a while. You might not do that for the rest of your life. However, some people, there's a guy out there, I heard on David Wolf's talk, he was talking about it. He reckons there's a guy there that's written a book on that. I found the dosage a different way on my own video, and apparently the dosage is 2 a week. Now that's going to help your microbiome, because every chemical that comes through your body, that passes through, and it has to pass through your liver for detox, and your kidneys, right? So let's talk about the liver. Hoshu Wu will help your kidneys even, by the way. It's that good. Hoshu Wu is like bottom half of the body. It's not just the joint stuff that, I don't know if you feel, but I was going to say that you feel, but I feel like in the joints, not in my hand, but I can't point down there, but in my knees, my feet, in the joints, I'll feel the Hoshu Wu like stripping action. Yeah, it's like it's getting out the calcites maybe too, which you can get out with lemon, which is calcites, what? Arthritis.
Mhm.
That's what arthritis is, these little calcium things called calcites. That's why I think David Wolfe is such a great healer, because he delved into the ambiguities of the medical world and then revealed like the fraudulent parts, like the calcium myth and so on. There's
Mhm.
there's a website, notmilk.com, and oh no, there's lots you can go into. Anyway, so, and I do think it's a good idea to stop milk too. That was a good entrance, actually. Segue. Thanks, whoever's talking through me and helping me, because milk is got you know,
That's
7 drops of pus in every glass or something, right? So what's in the pus? Well, it's viruses and stuff,
oh
right?
yeah.
So what you're letting in again. Um, as much as you can move to good food, what I've learned from my experience is it's it's just as important what you leave behind, sort of thing. It's just important as the habits you want to break and the stuff you don't want to take. You know, what you're eating and what good you're doing. I think it's just as important what you're not doing. Like any old habits, this is to be addressed, because it undermines, and I've done this with myself, I wasted money. I've undermined some of the positive actions I was trying to implement on my body with older habits, right?
Mhm.
But that's part of the transitioning and the stepping back. I've tried to go for 2 steps forward and 1 back and thought that'll do. Right?
Yeah.
Just go with
Yeah.
that.
Just go. Yeah. Just go
And
forward.
especially older people, you're older than me, and then older people are older than you. Move slow. Don't just bang the tinctures in. Ben said tinctures are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, but you know. So just take it easy. Um, remember what I said about Kundalini before chiropractic? So that's another axiom. Like, go the subtle road of healing before going a crazy harsh detox. I see all these real skinny hippies, all anemic and very. I look pretty healthy. I have like, it's not like I'm super stripped and skinny. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know, you've seen that look on some hippies where it looks like they've been sitting in a cave smoking bongs for like 10 years and just taking detoxes and that's it. Going, oh, I hate the world, detox, detox. I swear that's like what their aura gives to me sometimes. Anyway,
Uh,
you've seen them. I have these
I,
friends. These are some of my friends. Anyway, yeah. So, well, what I'm saying is that they've done mainly the stripping there, obviously, right? And that's for that axiom. Anyway, I was trying to remember the other thing that was really good for the gut, but I've forgotten. Oh yeah, fermented veggies. Silly me. So the fermented veggies. What do you do any fermenting?
no, I don't. Tell me about that.
Okay. In my video 2014 summer foraging, food foraging, I went over a little jar that I had, and the jar had in it carrot. Now, you know, the most obvious one's cabbage, so I won't even mention it, but I replaced my cabbage with lettuce and other greens because I didn't have cabbage. Okay, so I had, so yeah, you have cabbage, or like, I had lots of greens. Let's just do what was in mine. No, Michelle.
Okay.
Sorry, special. Um, the basic idea is that you're fermenting these things, and they're very cleansing to the gut. Sorry, they're very cleansing to the gut, and you know the cleansing action from the activated charcoal or the charcoal. So that can happen, and diuretic sort of expulsion. But you just take it in stride, and don't go crazy with it, because then you will end up on the toilet for a while. But the basic idea is I leave it for 6 days or 7, 5 to 7 days. You have a sugar thing. The sugar thing feeds the animals that you want. These animals are in there to the point of a 500 ml coconut oil jar that's empty that I'm using for these fermented veggies. That water in there is equal to like a little pharmaceutical tablet bottle,
Mm-hmm.
because they're in that one little ferment, it's equal to all those tablets. So do you see what I'm saying? You sip this water in one little session, and a 500 ml bottle's fine, perfect. A litre, you might end up on the shitter. So
Yeah.
I do the 500 ml. And this is going to reorganize your whole gut. It will help strip candida out as well. And most probably, we don't know this answer, but I'm pretty sure it'll be quite symbiotic with the kombucha cultures and all these lactobacillus and yogurt cultures. Remember, you're meant to also eat 1 live culture a day, is what they recommend, not just for the gut, 40 foot of intestinal tract, but also for the teeth and the bones, but mainly the teeth, because you want to create a biofilm over your teeth after you brush. And I talked about this, how I use, if I can afford it, when I can, Jalna yogurt, biodynamic flavor. So flavorless. Biodynamic was Rudolf Steiner's great work that he gave the world, biodynamic farming, which is like the weirdest farming you've ever read about, and
Right.
astrological sort of farming and everything, like cosmic
Mm.
farming. He'd done it. Yeah, he went all the way. Like, he didn't just stop at give your soil micronized wide spectrum mineral rock dust. He went all the way to the stars. Through Earth to the stars. Through Earth heart to the stars. Through half to the stars. So 1 live culture a day for the lactobacillus and all that. I've found great yogurts in the health shop which have those four main symbiotic strains, the famous ones. I won't, Acidophilus, Bifidus, and those 4 main ones that we know about. So if you can find something like that and afford it, good for you, and do it, because you're going to be in a better state. That's going to help me cruise through humanity better and hit less brain barriers and less people's cognitive dissonances. I want everyone to be clear and healthy and happy. I'm sick of the pain and running into the old world, and etc., etc. Now note, it's the apocalypse. I'm Benjamin Cowenberg, sorry, I just had to reach for it. It's the apocalypse. I can't stay in a very localized zone for too long. We'll come back. But it's the apocalypse. That's stripping in general. So we're stripping the old world. So when you talk about health in general, you want to strip mentally as well. And you'll find very much so that like the food correlates to this. Like hormones have a huge effect on your mood, for instance, and so when you start eating things like pumpkin seed oil and affecting your serotonin production, and then your endocrine system and stuff with all the stuff we're taking, and the coconut oil and everything affecting your endocrine system. There's a lot of medicines that do affect it in a positive way that are beyond the scope of this discussion. But there's something to be said for clearing mentally and just thinking about that connection to your terrain and your physical terrain, not just on the meditative way, but
Yeah,
just
yeah.
what you're thinking and all that as well, and all the good philosophies out there and all that. So anyway, back to the gut. Have you had kefir before?
I haven't had kefir.
Coke.
Yeah.
Try coconut kefir and like message me. Tell me what you reckon.
Yeah.
Take
Okay.
a bottle.
Yeah. I can go to my local store. I'm just gonna see what they have in terms of like kefir and fermented vegetables.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Uh,
we were talking about that.
do they? So do they? Yeah. So so good. I mean, I think I'm just really curious about how the probiotics. I mean, the pumpkin seed oil. I'm gonna see if they have it. Do you have was it a brand that you bought?
Yes, but I haven't seen any other brands, so it's not like some brand has the market share or something. So
Oh,
just explore.
I'll just
Yeah, just
I'll just
explore.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like there are good brands out there. Like I like BioVeda Anu oil, which is a 25 herbal mix for the sinus and nasal. You squirt up in your
Mhm.
nose, and there are good products. But yeah, in that fashion, I don't think there's too many pumpkin seed oil products out there. Like I haven't seen them in any of the health shops. It's not in Happy High Herbs. Like I've just found it in this one little. It's called the Laneway, a little hidden health shop, and I found it there.
Okay.
The strangest places, the weirdest people, there you will find the stone. I forgot who
Yes.
said that.
I don't know, but it's my experience, I think,
The
too.
philosopher's stone, of course, we're talking about.
Yes, for sure,
Anyway,
for
yeah.
sure.
In case anyone
Yeah.
didn't know, strangest paper. Yeah, and in that way, me walking into that laneway was such a little zeitgeistal resonance of finding like that quote is the exact like resonance of it. Like I went to the strangest place and found the forefront like sitting there unsuspectingly.
Uh-huh.
Like a
Uh-huh.
gem in a cave when you're what's his name?
Well,
Famous movie.
like Aladdin in
What's
a
his
way.
name? No, Harrison Ford plays him.
Oh,
Yeah,
Indiana
yeah, yeah.
Jones.
Like it was like a gem in the cave, and yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, the probiotica stuff's very interesting, hey, because it's gonna grow huge, and I've
Yeah.
heard the industry's growing from like 20 billion to 40 billion this year. Like it's doubling this year. It makes sense with the building resonance out of the eschaton. Makes
Mm-hmm.
sense, that's along the timeline. Perfect. All is as it should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
All is as it should be, always, huh?
Yeah.
Either
It's
it's
re
either that or it's a happenstance universe and nothing is like correct and it's just all happenstance and happening for no reason out of nowhere. I don't know about that one because
I
the
know.
darkness knows itself to hold all thoughts that exist away from the stream. So it's easy to get caught in confusion. And a Dennis McKenna quote, as this, have you ever noticed when the sphere of how the sphere of understanding is always expanding? The sphere of understanding is always expanding, but then
Mhm.
necessarily the surface area of ignorance is also growing.
As it goes outward,
Right? The
in a
surface
way.
areas of ignorance is growing from the sphere of understanding. Like, who are the sphere of understanding? Einstein's, your Walter Russells, your Gnostic indigo genius people, right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
the people making reality, and we're the ones making reality. This is why you've got to find out who you are, because everybody has that ability for the download to come, for their starlight to come,
Hmm.
and to come. A lot of people aren't orgasming out there, and that's a third eye clearing, and we won't go into that today. But let's talk more about the human microbiome thing before we do this healing. Um,
Okay.
it's just what anything I can discuss on. I'm just interested because it's forefront, and I like to discuss. Like there's major causes of aging. If you look up a website, I remember seeing a real astute website on it, and it had like really legit causes, and like oxidization. Basically, the
Hmm.
atmosphere is rusting us via the oxygen that we need to breathe.
Hmm.
Stranger than you can suppose. Why? Anyway, and then the cell senescence, which is like the unwinding of cells, the untimely demise, the telomere shortening stuff. There's all these causes of aging which I think relate to the bacteria and everything because they have their own vibration. They're sitting next to your cells and they're digging into your skin cells. They're doing this, they're doing that, right? So they're mingled. But then there's this light body essence and the refraction indices and stuff I've talked about, and that's why I want to show people meditation to heal from the outside in. And it's said that their vibrations are in lower bands than what we can create, what we can ping. So when you raise your vibration, like even having a hot water shower raises your vibration, but just raising your vibration via meditation and letting static go off you and so on. You know, even just doing this is pushing out these bacteria because they can't live. And Dr. Kazar has even talked about that too. Actually, he said that same sort of thing. A lot of these whatever he said can't live in a certain vibration, and I know that from experience from meditating. And I'm pushing. Sometimes I'm really pushing my energy out my arm, like trying to push it through the pain wherever it is, and I get to pushing sometimes in my meditation. And sometimes you over push, that's when you need to go ground and it like needs to release so you can do like another cycle or something of the microcosmic. That's the last meditation I'm mentioning. Outsourced meditation, not mine. Out of those four I said. That's the microcosmic orbit, it's Chi, and it's Montauk Chia, the Grand Master. Now he was raised like by monks. Basically they said when he was real young, he comes in running 7 years old or whatever and saying, I'd like to do what you're doing. They said, go home. If you can feel this light in your stomach, come back and tell us. He could. Because they said some people can't feel this. Now this, what would that be? The lower Dan Gen, the Taoists know it as. In Taoism, they know this. The Western world, we're only up to the Heart Math Institute recording the heart brain. They're saying, Heart Math Institute saying it's got neurons, you remember, and I'll tell you, you remember larger occurrences in your life. Was that person good to you? Was that person da-da-da? That's how the heart's neurons are remembering. This is more like, what is the speed of light actual number? You know? But then there's the crystal room, that was the brain. But then there's the crystal room of the third eye, or vision. So there's the heart, the gut, and the crystal room. And you get that gut feeling, right? And I've got a feeling about that. Well, it's not your intestines, and the bacteria's vibrations can get in the way. I just thought about that though, right? Well, they've got their own vibration. They can get in the way. It's like static to what you want to be expressing. What's most important is who you are and what you want to be expressing. Out of anything, that's the most important thing. Like, who are you? Or are you just here just to like not really be here and rape the earth of its like resources and shit out some kids to do the same thing? Well, that's how I see it. Like, and I know that was a real, real good one. Shit out some kids, but
Yeah.
you know, I think we have much more to give and much more to be. Not, it's not even about giving. I think, you know, there's more of a purpose and meaning. And I do think we're the height of creation, and there may well be some squids on Europa, but I think that they're not going to give me a supercomputer anytime soon. And that I'm the height of creation. I'm going to make a video called Exobiological Conundrum on that. Because I don't think it's about the numbers, or they're staggering. And yes, there's trillions of stars, and I know all the numbers, but then also read an interesting post once about the negative numbers of how many planets aren't in the Goldilocks zone, how many can't have life because they don't have water or something. Do you know what I mean? Like there are negative detracting factors that no one ever talks about when they say that, the numbers thing. So I think we're the height of creation, not because of the numbers. Yeah, they're staggering. I know about the Drake equation and all that stuff, but I think it's about where we are in time, not in
Yes, I agree.
space. Like,
I agree.
and that's the darkness having all the thoughts. Hey, but this, but that, but that, but that, and it
Yeah,
can
yeah,
confuse you forever.
yeah. But you're not you're not in the now, the
Yeah, and
present.
the light. Yeah, the now is always where the light is too.
Yeah.
Mm. So how does that relate to what I was saying? Well, if you're the height of creation, you take not a sinful pride, but a sort of euphoric realization. And then when you start to learn all this stuff, how you're connected to the cosmos. Oh, what? I've got energetic crown and root chakra and The universe is flowing through me in the microcosmic orbit, which is up the spine and then down the frontal functional channel. That's what the microcosmic orbit is, because the Kundalini teaches you up the back. However, Kriya Yoga, they do know about that, but the video I've given you is just up the back. Now, Mantak Chia in the microcosmic orbit shows you the frontal functional channel, and this helped me clear up my nose so much. I can breathe better. Well, I haven't been meditating at the moment, right? You caught me after a study bubble of 2 weeks programming. Anyway, so yeah, that helped me a lot there, the microcosmic orbit, because that's where it starts, the functional frontal channel. And you get Amrita and Amaranth energies here. Have you read about them?
I heard about Amrita. Is Amaranth like the masculine? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that could be right, actually. I haven't heard that one. So
okay.
let's discuss that, because Abraham's saying that Amaranth is the masculine and Amrita would be the feminine more. Well, I didn't read about that in the reading I read about it, but that could be the case. And we could say, you know, there's a saying about man having to go through a woman for enlightenment, and like a sort of higher vibration being held by the women now on Earth, because man has trekked deeper into density. That's why. Like I said, blunt spearhead. So, yeah, blunt spearhead, man, head of spirit. What were we saying again? Sorry, I lost myself in the joy. Oh yeah, we're the head of creation and all that, and you know, oh yeah, Amrita, Amaranth. So Amaranth to me is a more of a denser thing. So that's why I was saying that. Sorry, I was thinking aloud.
Right.
I know it's confusing. I'm sorry. So the Amaranth is like a thicker energy, and the Amrita seems more of a high vibratory, very like the Syrian light, very impermeable, very crystalline, and that's what the energy is. I'm pretty sure I'm running into. It's a crystalline energy. It's very, very high vibratory, very crystalline. And we're not going to discuss crystals or crystal lattices or anything like that. That's beyond the scope of this conversation. But generally, remember, it's golden crystal age as well. Yeah, so this is why I have to talk in circles, because it all has to come back and conjoin. Now, I think this is how time works, and I think all I'm doing is being natural, so I won't have anyone put me off this. It's hard. I've pushed through, and I'm getting better and better at it. So I think time actually works like this. There's a picture I could show, actually, may as well. Time consummation. Because it's a cool picture. I mean, to lose this one to the ages. Yeah. So, and you also can see my notes domain here now. So, if you didn't know where that was. There's Terence McKenna. Where's the picture? There it is. So that's how I think time is. So Abraham, when you see the video, you'll be able to see it. It's like interlocking, and this is not that conversation. I was going to delve into time and tangent, but we can't. So Amrita, Amaranth. So yeah, the Amrita is a higher vibe, and then I'll wash over Amaranth. That's what I've been doing. I'm like getting this ping, 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 pushing out like the vibration of the bacteria and all that. Pinging that out, right? Very high vibes. It was very crystalline hard, and it's like flicking them off. The Amaranth will maybe smother the bacteria's vibrations. The Amrita's going ping, 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 ping. Okay, that's the Amrita, and that's the energy. And the Amaranth is more of a like slower and kind of more graceful, I guess. It's more comforting, more comforting. They're both liquid, because that's the fifth dimensional liquid living light. That's the fifth dimensional. That's how I can tell. That's a correlation that I always make. Okay. So that.
Should we go into
But
healing meditation?
definitely. Yeah, so the Amrita is like a very high vibe. You're pulling that from here, really pushing it around your mouth. The monks will go chi swallow, a very hard swallow. Just okay, it's a chi swallow, and then you start to learn how to do that, and you start to do it a bit gentler and smile. Take it down to your heart or something. You'll learn that from the microcosmic. I've got that in my video. Actually, if you YouTube microcosmic orbit and in my video, actually just go to the Consciousazine playlist and it's in there, because Montak Chia's videos got taken down, so he only has the overview video. He had 26 10-minute videos and some asshole took it down. He had visuals and everything and it was the best, but I remembered a lot of it and I put it in my video, so I think we're fortunate for that, and I thank me. No, a lot of people have thanked me on that video. Anyway, no problem, guys. No problem. So we can see a golden ball also in our stomach in the lower danjian, and you might feel it feeding through your eye, but basically looking up at the higher masters, the teachers of light, the angel star beings. Well, the angels come through the starlight, but let's not get technical. So you can imagine this golden ball in your stomach pulling energy down from this larger golden ball above you, or a star. Just imagine the golden ball above you and you taking in the energy. Now this makes you brighter so that the higher masters can more easily see you and better help you while you're walking on the earth. They can see that. So he's sucking this golden ball here in the bottom danjian or stomach region. Most definitely this will heal bad biotica, let's call them. And it's important not to be too serious, I think, ever. The joy of the crown is something special. So anyway, let's move into, that was just a quick little healing.
Sure.
So let's move into, well, just before we do that, the Amrita and the Amran. I'd really like you to start doing that. It tastes something on your palate. You should be able to sense when you're doing it and the difference. Start to understand. It's more like the amaranth is a thicker mist and the Amrita is a sort of clearer water or something. They're in the same region, fifth dimensional though. Mist, water, mist and water. I need a drink. Okay.
Before we do it, can I go? Let me use the bathroom for a little bit. Okay, hold on.
Let's see if I can show people. Let's play this song. I might get a copyright. Beautiful. Alright. Just listening to some new energy wave frequency harmonics. New music from Triple J, which is Australia's national radio station. I always recommend it to everyone because it plays like new international music, not just the top 40 Britney Spears or whatever, or Justin Bieber, etc. Oh, sorry, my headphones out. Let's hope everyone can hear me. So there's a meditation that I wanted to take you guys through. And before we do, in the context of health, I'd like to say, don't avoid and dismiss emotions and stuff, and the way you're feeling, and so on, because we talked about the body being barometer briefly. So use yourself. Use yourself. It really can be that easy. What I've found meditation to do is change many different brain centers I'm using. You can go online and you can research that as well. They're hooking up the monks to machines, which is great. I've said that IT can make you more spiritual. I'll leave it at that and let you figure it out. The meditation I really wanted to depart was, remember, based on the triangulation or the trifecta or whatever, the three points we talked about before, which was Andromedan enlightenment is the current enlightenment on Earth, and it has this purple tone wherever it goes. Whether it's Vela, who will channel the Violet Heart Flame meditation through Riser, that's his guide from Andromeda, or it's one of mine, which I can't yet pinpoint the name of, or if it's someone else's. I always see a purple tone. I've seen pictures on the net. I had a friend once, Jade, stayed at her place for a while. She was an artist. She had it in her drawings. I could see Sirius white, and I could see all these different energies. Really weird how this stuff comes out. Stranger than you can suppose. Everyone's an individual. So you're looking for themes. So the three themes I'm giving you is this golden theme, the golden light, the golden feel resonance, the golden love, which is the center of the white light. I postulate perhaps the white light being the Planck length of Max Planck's imagining. Could this be the still single light, whence all motional light cometh? Similar to paraphrase Walter Russell in his Secret of Light reading? Possibly. Oh, I don't know. There is a little interactive tool on the internet where you can zoom from the entire universe through how big everything is all the way down to the Planck length. And when you view that, it makes more sense and context, and it's possible what I just said. So the white light has a golden center. I'll just leave you with that, and it's the golden love of the white light. Now, when we do this, let's close our eyes. Quickly before I do this, I'll show you one little technique. This is, I think, Vedic. These are sounds for the chakras. So it's Yam. I'll write it down here. Okay. So Yam. get to listen for the sound after the sound, the subtle inner sound. Oh. Now the Om was for the eye, and silence for the crown. So that was just those sounds: Yam with a Y, Sam with an S, L lamb, H ham, and Om for the third eye, and then silence for the crown. That was just correlating the chakras to those sounds, and they're healing sounds for those chakras. A very quick clearing, I find. I mean, how long was that? Like a minute. So incorporate the micro meditations. That's what it's come down to for me, because we just went through a universal compression into an escatone. An escatone is not just the end of history. I feel that's what eschatology is. Read about it. It's basically the end of history, and it's the apocalypse, which means uncovering in Greek. Uncovering esoteric. All the stuff's coming out, channelings, etc. So, yeah, it's in that context, in that correlation, the universe compressed consciously. Those conscious mind compression cycles you can see on that time note I brought up on the screen just before when you watch this video. That's by Dr. Kellerman, The Mind Pyramid of Consciousness. It's just another, Terence McKenna's time wave shows it as well. There was just a compression known as the quickening. And in this, the epiphanies were monthly and weekly. And then when you see the cycles of the galactic cycle, it was weekly. 2011. 2012, there was a little mini cycle, a universal cycle, in the middle of the year almost. And this was where the epiphanies, and when you were reading science, you could see it. I could see this. The epiphanies, the massive breakthroughs, the novel breakthroughs, not did we make a habitual, did we like tweak that atom in that way, which we've done before. The real novel stuff was compressed and it came quicker and quicker, and now it should be daily if you're on the timeline. For me, every day, and it's many a day. There's many little connections that are asymptotic and totally novel. Asymptotic means like the height of that, like the top of the pyramid, the gold concressive capstone of the pyramid. Anyway, so these little epiphanies, these little universal breakthroughs, this compressed into the eschaton, and now it can basically be momentary, yeah. So that's the point of the micro meditation, being in line and alignment with the new world. Because if you really are in alignment like me, I'm busy, yeah, I'm really busy, and the IT and this and the creating conscious thing. On the timeline now, you're doing your purpose, which means every second of your day is for you and your purpose, right? Like, I'm walking the path and I'm being the light and so on. So in correlation to the time, and remember we talked about exobiological conundrum, it's not just about space and the confusion of all the thoughts everywhere. You can get lost there. You know, there's a single stream of light, the central river flow of the universe, the vector entropy. Now, what I'm saying is that that's important to your health, to know where you are in time as well as space. Like, you know you're on Earth, and we're not going to, that's beyond the scope of this conversation. We're not going into why I mentioned that. But do you understand what I'm saying? To just keep that focus.
Yeah.
Time is very important, and that would correlate to where we are exactly right now in time. Doing micro meditations would correlate to where we are. Because I'm getting on my computer, I'm getting stressed, I'm working with the IT, it's a bad vibration, I need to meditate me. That's how it works with me anyway.
I do a lot of walking meditation. Do you do much of that?
Yeah, I
Just
walk.
go.
Sometimes I walk. I don't walk a lot. Do you walk barefooted? Do you walk with shoes every time?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll go into my backyard and just be outstanding. I'll be barefoot, but I do a walking meditation where I just let my mind take in whatever the universe gives me. And I try to imagine myself being stationary and the earth moving beneath me and the sky moving above me. So that's that kind of, and also aligned with the breath too. And that really sort of calms me, just the gentle rhythm of it too.
Yeah, the grace of that, and
Yeah,
definitely the pardon, the micro meditations are allowing for a more graceful flow. I definitely
yeah,
think so. Um, so just as many as you can pick up.
yeah, yeah. It helps to, especially if like I commute a lot to LA and back, and so what if I after an hour in the car, it's always useful for me to take like 10 minutes of just walking around, and I was like I get back into my human body. I go back into a more human sort of framework of dimensionality rather than
Yeah, yeah, it's like you
uh,
compress the dimensions in, because dimensional
yeah,
creation happens down dimensionally. So we're always pushing down into the second dimensional physical like domain of atoms and the physical edge, I'll call it,
yeah,
um,
hmm
the first and second dimension. So
yeah,
yeah, I like what you said about being aligned with your breath. I need that so badly, more and more, and it's hard with thinking so much. Like I've been Wu Ji
yeah,
is so we talked about Jing, black foods, and Kui like goji berries or chi
yeah,
energy, and then Shen from the heart, which is auric energy. Is
hmm
that energy? And then Wu Ji, WUGI. Now I can just imagine some monk sitting there going, Wu Ji, this cosmic force up here. I call it the cosmic tinkering. Woo
uh,
gee. Well, I have a lot of that. I've had a lot. Go and think and think. And when you look at Stephen Coe, the Chi Master, if you have a look at him, he talks real fast and blah, 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 and it's Chi. What did we say about Chi? It was
mm,
movement energy. So I've got a lot of
yeah,
Chi, and
yeah,
I'm a Chi Master.
uh,
I just have grown up in the wrong society, taught all the crap. Basically, and now so I'm learning for myself, which is good because it's pure now.
yeah. It's for you. It's for you
Yeah,
through you.
that's what I mean. It's pure
Yeah,
now. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So the meditation, let's just get into this because we can talk more any other day if you want.
Yeah.
Without
Okay.
further
Well,
ado,
are we going to end
yeah,
with
yeah,
this? Just so I know.
let's
Yeah.
let's do
All
that.
right.
So I'm glad to have Abraham here today, and I'm sure some people have learnt something. Hey, um, so I'm more than happy to help anyone. So what I want to talk about, remember, is this correlation of the golden stuff, the purple stuff, and crystalline. We were correlating the crystalline stuff to fifth dimensional living crystalline light, and this is light body relative. We're talking about three major centers. I call that the soul mind,
Mm,
like as in your soul mind. Now that liminalist, funny enough, he just said in his talk this morning, there's one little thing that says psyche equals soul. I went, oh, well, that's my
mm,
soul mind thing. Yeah.
hmm
Um, and the Dan Gens, well, the Taoists have shown it because they're saying these are the three major centers. Da, da, da. Yeah. So they've noticed what we've noticed as well. Um, oh, so we're in resonance with those three things: the Andromedan enlightenment, pink, purple, violet. We're in resonance with the thing golden times because we're living better than pharaohs. We have that ability. These are golden times. It's meant to make you ecstatic. It's gold. It's the central golden love in the white light. This is the most restorative thing that there is. The golden love. Love is the universal compressive force. brings things together. Coincidentia oppositorums them, even if they're opposites. It'll still bring them together. I've noticed this, that love is a massive, concursive force if there's nothing else doing it. Anyway, so we have the golden love and purple restorative flames. It's more of a flame. So hopefully you're feeling those two different energies already. And then the crystalline energy. I always have a hard, it's like I bang into it. The crystalline energy is quite, well, it's crystal, right? What do we cut metal with? Crystal. It's the hardest substance that we're currently working with. So this is not hard in a I'm the man, I'll punch you in the face hard. That's not the type of hard man stuff we're talking about. This crystalline energy feels similar to me to the Syrian white light of the Syrian trinary system. In the Sirius system, there's three. There's red, blue, and white. So we can harness from the main Sirius star this crystalline energy somewhat, because I know it has correlation. I just notice this. I can feel it. I've said before that the Syrian light gives strength. This would correlate again with crystals being the hard substance, right? The golden love. So the golden love is well, what does love do? You can feel it's just ultimately restorative. And the purple flame of life and vivificacious nature. It's an alignment light. The Andromedan eclectic, I'll call it eclectic. At the eschaton we can see this eclecticity in people such as me, such as that Alejano guy I noted before. The eclectism of video on YouTube, that will be the zeitgeist video right now currently. At the end of history, that's why, because we're amalgamating. So the purple light also carries a coherence. In what I just said, that's a coherence factor. I hope that wasn't too confusing. So, just going through that, now what I want everyone to visualize, we're kind of stepping away from what I said in a way, and in other ways you'll notice we're not. We've talked about the golden light and reaching to the bones, and the golden light is healing the bone marrow. So begin to see your bones. That's all gold. Just begin with a golden coating. And the gold light coming up your spine can help. But I want you to visualize now my meditation from Benjamin Cowan. So visualize your bones all gold. Now when you hold that in your eye, that's when you're breathing in. Whenever you have the vision of as many bones as you can see in your eye, from your body, imagining them gold layered, then penetrate, and the gold can go into and heal the marrow, do you understand?
Yes.
So you're just seeing the gold, and then breathe in on that structure. Oh, you can crack, you can move. This is the chi flowing through. The chi is life force energy, remember?
Hi.
Hi.
What happened?
Oh my god, sorry. Well, remember before I pulled out the cord from the socket, so my computer lost electrical charge completely.
All right.
Let's continue. We're still recording and everything. Good. So yeah, I want you to breathe in on the golden structure. Now on the out breath, so on the out breath, we're doing the purple, and the purple comes over the golden structure, like a mist coming over the golden bone structure. And so that's going to be healing your nerve endings, the bundles connecting, right? And that's a major thing, because when you think about the similarity of each nerve ending to anywhere in the body, to a muscle, to a bone, whatever it's touching, I'd like you to think about it like the neurons in your brain. It's the complexity is happening at the end, is what I'm trying to depart. All the little molecules between neurons, they're firing between neurons. There's all these little chemicals going from neuron to neuron. That's what I was trying to give you, the idea that at the end of the nerve is complexity. So to heal that part's very important. That's all I'm saying. So you're breathing in on that golden structure, and it's not necessarily a big breath. It's a very subtle energy, pranic-like breath. If no one knows about prana, just have a little look into pranayama. Pranayam. Pranam is also golden. So like Reiki's not golden, Chi's not golden, but Pranam is golden, or prana. So that's the type of breath we're using over the golden structure, breathing in, and then on the way out, we're changing it for not that matrix energy of the prana, and I'm not talking societal matrix, I'm talking about, Indra's web matrix of the universe. So the prana is the matrix energy on the way in, and you're not really seeing sparks of little gold. It's just a very light breath over the golden structure in. And then on the way out, we're putting this purple light over like a mist. Let it flow over. Push it over. Let it flow over. And if you feel shaking like me, that's good. The shaking is energy leaving your body. All pain is energy leaving your body. So if you're shaking like me, good, you're healing. It's fine to crack, shake. Remember, that's better than going to the chiropractor, because you're doing little cracks now on yourself. Not letting it build for years and years and then seeing a chiropractor and then bang, cracking something in. So pranic breath over the golden structure of your bones. So on the way out, restorative purple mist, flame mist. Put both those energies there.
Yeah.
Can you feel that? Oh, love it. Now it is important to know theory for stuff. For instance, when I look at the microcosmic orbit of Montauk Cheers on YouTube, the overview, for me now, it's largely lost, it's dry, it's lost its soul. When you saw, in comparison, what he did have up with all the visuals and, yeah, anyway. So the restorative purple light over, breathing out still. Doing your own chiropractics. So this was just from me to you guys, and this is besides the 4 meditations. I really want everybody to view the Google Tech Talks one. This is all on the meditation page in www.consciousazine, as in the end of magazine, consciousazine.com. Google Tech Talks, Mantak Chi stuff. So you've got Kundalini, Chi, and then the throat friction, learning some more physical aspects of it, and sound healing, the larynx and the third eye via sound. And then the violet heart flame, which I've showed you guys, just it's a quick one and it's a restorative thing. Now at this point I feel very high pings. I was like vibrating more, and now as that's leaving and it's leaving my hands, it's still a bit in my hands. I could do this for longer. Now I'm feeling pings start, ping, 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 and you're raising it. It'll raise. And you're raising through the chakras, because these pings are going up according to the notes correlating with each chakra, which I think starts at C flat, or the note is C, I think, for the root or something. I think so, if you look on the meditation page. And if you listen to high-pitched mani bowls, now is a great time to put the Tibetan bowls to work for frequency healing now. And at this point, the Sacred Higher Heart Activation 518 Hz Frequency Love and DNA Repair by Helen Demetriou would be perfect, I just realised. Yes, all is as it should be. So, and yeah, we're opening the crown, and it's a portal guidance, what I've just given you as well. And you're sinking into the golden love, and you're going to Andromeda, you're going to the purple, the violet flame, not purple, violet flame. And it's the violet, of course there's real correlation with starlight, and you know, gamma rays this, and ultraviolet rays. And the ultraviolet is on the edge of the high pink, or the white pink. And the white lights there. So at this point I think sound frequency healing would be really perfect, because you're in a point where you're sensitive enough to allow the DNA changes, and it's very subtle. You're starting to get very subtle, not or bang a tincture in my mouth and like that energy I just showed. So yeah, getting towards a subtle domain. The lesser lights, I heard a monk call it once. As far as you can go and come back. Yeah, remember we have to come back, people. It's not just about the stripping of get your mind out of the societal gutter, move to a worldly, planetary mindset, and then galactic and so on, and universal thinking and da-da-da. Not just about the stripping, but we have to build it. Yeah, we've got to literally build the new world.
Yeah.
What an interesting time to be alive, Abraham. Yeah, no problem. Hey, it's been good. Thanks for this opportunity too. You know, I love being able to put this up on the internet and have it recorded. And yeah, thank you for allowing me to do that. And I'm sure many people one day will thank you for this, you know. Because I can imagine, because when I see a video and how much it heals me, you know. So, Yeah, thanks for your time, and
All right.
much blessings. And if you feel you need to be blessed from something and someone, you can ask seraphim angels. So seraphim, the high white light angels, to come through, and then you should be able to put out white light from here. Now this one I find heavy. There's a small, little, it's not a big eye open like Ra energy. This is more a little white light, but it's big here and traveling down the arms. And it's very important, these eyes here, that we get these sensitive, because these are what we heal others with. And you heal yourself with this. When you find out from the Kundalini meditation you're going like this, and you're healing your nervous ganglion, your middle nervous system, and then you lay your hands on someone and Reiki them, hopefully at that point you fully realise, how important it is to get this sensitive here, to clear these. So I notice it because I sit on the computer and I'm right? So, and this is a good manifesting mudra. Don't forget mudras, hand movements of whatever. Because it's energy flows. Now, when you take psychedelics, this happens naturally. I'm not recommending you take psychedelics. I'm sick of recommending it to people because it's emotionally draining and I hit too many cognitive dissonances and stuff. But, yeah. Some people think it's fun too. Anyway, my friend said, remember when psychedelics were fun? He means that we have to face every day the rigmarole of the brainwash of people and so on. And he's like, remember when it was fun? Not so serious. Yeah, enjoy your day, Abraham. Hey, you've been given this whole day.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? Huh?
Much love.
Thank you. Much love.
All right.